And now, ladies and gentlemen, please sit back and relax and enjoy the Intermission Show with tonight's guests from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Pamela Watling. Joining us also from Pittsburgh, Jason Slater. And all the way from Hollywood, California, Avery Patti. And finally, from somewhere in a fine residential community, this is the Intermission Show with your host, Joey Deasy.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Thanks for coming on our third episode. Every week's just getting a little bit better and better. That intro, shout out to Javo. So glad to have you guys back. We got some great guests tonight. We are still in the studio in Greenfield. The team is growing. The executive production team, Alicia Keys, is just growing every week. We got hair, makeup. We had the green room set up last week. I mean, I'm done working at the bank. It's a full-time newscaster, late night talk show host. Whatever this is, I'm doing it full-time now. It pays the bills better than working at the bank in Homestead. But no, I'm glad to be back. This has been so much fun. People I haven't talked to in years have messaged me and be like, that show is so much fun. You're so goofy. And I said, yep, you are right. So it's just fun to do it, break up the week. Hopefully you guys are looking forward to it like I am. Obviously, you guys kind of know the drill. We got 3 guests every week. We try to get wide-ranging occupations, people, friends. We've had some really good guests, and I'm excited to continue this week. So you might be asking yourself, where did I get the name for the show? Well, let me show you where. So this is a picture from Dave DeCello. He's a really famous kind of and popular photographer in Pittsburgh. And this is a photo of downtown, the Bytum Theater. And right when all this Corona stuff was starting, he went down there and took a picture. And right on the marquee, it said, "This is just an intermission." And I thought that really hit home. And when I was starting to plan the show, I said, it's the best name. So it really sums up where we're at right now. It's just kind of an intermission, especially with my business and a lot of the people I talk to on the show. We kind of just hit the pause button. We're waiting to come back, and we're just passing the time with the show and Zoom happy hours and whatever kind of weird stuff you guys do at home. Puzzles. They were collecting dust. Now I went down to Target. Puzzles are sold out at Target. Don't know. So enough about all this goofiness with the show. We have our first guest, and I would like to welcome her to the show. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming our first guest, Pamela Watling. Pam has worked various roles in the service industry at Duke's and now owns 8th and Hayes in Homestead. 8th and Hayes specializes in brick oven pizzas and various eats, and Pam also curates a great wine selection. Pam, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hi, Zoe. How are you?
I'm doing good. You know, just putting a suit on in the middle of this Corona stuff.
Yeah, you look way nicer than me.
This is the only time I get dressed. Legitimately, I don't wear pants. But no, I'm so glad you're going to be on the show. I'm sure you... when I asked you to be on it, you were like, what the hell is this kid up to?
No, I knew about it. It was fine. Kevin, my little brother's like, I heard he cracks eggs on people's heads.
Yo, shout out Kev. Well, that was the first show. Frankie Wassett kind of took over. She sent me eggs, and we played the A game that Jimmy Fallon does on his show.
Oh, okay.
It was it got really weird really quick. So.
He was like, you better watch out. I was like, oh, I don't know.
It was fun, though. It was really fun.
Yeah.
So without further ado, we got a few questions to ask you. So you've worked in the service industry most of your life, obviously Duke's and now your own spot, 8th and Hayes. How has growing up in that world kind of shaped how you are and then helped you open your own spot?
Yeah, I mean, it was in my blood, I guess. We've owned Duke since before I was born, obviously. So there's been so many improvements over the years, and watching my parents do that over the past 30 or some years now has been a learning experience for me. And obviously just all the connection we make with people and our employees and just with each other. We've grown a lot, we've learned a lot, and I decided after being in the corporate world for 3 years that was not my cup of tea, and I needed something else to do. So like I said, it was in my blood, so that was just like the logical next step for me. We wanted to bring something to the Avenue that wasn't here, so yeah, it's been working out really well.
So you were actually in the service industry, left for the corporate world, and then came back.
Yeah, I started working at Duke's when I was like 14. And then
Child labor is the best labor.
Right, child labor, I know. And then I went to college. I worked through college too at Duke's. And then when I graduated, I went and worked at PPG. And so I was in logistics for 3 years. But I still worked at Duke's part-time. So I never really left, I guess. But I decided to come back full-time in mid-2014. And then we opened Nathan Hayes in the end of 2016. So, yeah.
So you've
I knew
always
when I
been.
left PPG, I was opening Nathan Hayes. I didn't know how long it would take to open. I didn't realize everything that kind of went in with it, but we did it.
Yeah, and that was. I'm glad you brought that up because I was gonna ask you about it. The construction phase. You're familiar with it now. We're familiar with it. You know, people think that these restaurants and businesses they just open overnight, and I'll never forget being there and talking to you. While it was under construction, everyone was coming up to you. When's it open? When's it opening? And I kind of just saw you like roll your eyes and like. Whenever they let me open up, I mean, people don't understand the permits, the hood system, inspections. Right. So, I mean, at least you guys had some experience, and you know, it's hard. So, I tip my hat to you guys. You know, it was a really good spot, and you guys knocked it out of the park with the construction.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Nice
which leads me to my next segue. Working with family. You work with your family. I work with my family. We tell everyone it's the best. But I want to hear your side of the story.
No, I mean, it's honestly, it's better than working. I actually, so I worked for my family for so long, and then I left, obviously, like I said, and worked for other people. And coming back, I guess that made me appreciate working with my family more, because you're actually working for and with people that care about you more.
Yeah.
But also, like, you can't really hurt each other's feelings as long as the communication lines are open and you're like, we air our grievances and stuff, but it's all about just communicating with each other. So there's, you know, it's not always easy, but it's definitely, I prefer it over the alternative.
Yeah, I agree. You know, literally everything you said. Obviously there's times you butt heads, you know, I butt heads with my dad, but I wouldn't have it any other way. You know, you get to work with them, you get to hang out with them, and ultimately build something cool together. So
For sure.
it is fun. It's the pros are more than the cons.
Definitely.
So obviously, you know, tough times for everyone in the restaurant industry. We've had some other restaurant people on here, and you know, you guys get it. 8th and Hayes is closed, but Duke's is open. You guys are doing takeout.
Yeah, so 8th and Hayes is going to be closed until we're allowed to reopen. We're selling our wine at Duke's, and then Duke's is open for takeout 4 days a week.
So you guys are selling the 8th and Hayes wine at Duke's. That's cool. And
Yeah.
I totally made that up when I was introing you, but I believe you curate the wine.
I do, yes. I do. That's me.
We'll just roll with it. So what's your inspiration? Do you just go out to a lot of places and try it? Do you read on it?
Yeah, I read a lot and I drink a lot. So those two things together. Yeah, there's so much information. I mean, I'll never know everything, but I'm trying. I'm interested in it, so it's something that's fun. And it's been, I guess, 5 years now that I've been into it. So it's nice to create a wine list that's not pretentious, that people get, and it's a good price point, I think. And you know, that was my whole goal with it.
Yeah. It's awesome. I just was throwing some pictures up on the screen of the 8th and Hayes. I just got them from online. There's some cozy fireplaces there. I got a picture with a wine glass right in front of the fire. So it looks pretty cool. So we are towards the end of our interview. I have one serious question and then some funny questions.
Yes.
The serious question, obviously your family, you guys have been there for a while. You've been involved with the neighborhood. Where do you see Homestead going in the next couple years, 5 years, 10 years?
I mean, I'm excited. I think a lot's going to happen in the next 5 years even. Even at the end of this, I think there's so many awesome people that own businesses up and down the avenue, and it's such a great community. I think that within the next 5-10 years, it's going to be even more. It's so cool that we have as many options as we have now. But I think it's going to be even more in the next 5-10 years. And I know we have a great community, so I'm hoping everybody can pull together and get through this so that we can see what the next phase will be for us, you know?
Yeah, I agree. You know, like you said, in the last 5 years, more businesses have sprung up than, you know, in the 20 years that I lived in Munhall. So
there's
it's
never
good.
that many options.
It's exciting. It's exciting to be a part of it. You know, people think I'm joking when I say, but it's like fun. Like I feel like we're starting kind of like Homestead 2.0.
Yeah, it's super fun.
So my final serious question: when are you running for mayor?
I'm not the politician type, Joey. Come on.
I never would have guessed that. All right, so
And
we're
I don't
coming.
live here, so I can't run, right?
Yeah, I guess I didn't realize you have to live in Homestead to be mayor. We need a mayor.
it's-
We need a mayor. We need a new. And don't get me wrong, Betty Esper's super cool. I'm just saying we need someone young.
There you go. Listen.
Can I say that? I mean, we're live to like 100,000 people right now. There's thousands and thousands watching. No, I'm just joking. All right, so I'm going to end with a little section. If you watched the previous shows, I kind of do like a little, you know, Jimmy Fallon skit with all my guests at the end. This one's really simple. I took it easy on you, Pam. This is called rapid fire questions. So
Okay.
I'm going to give you some questions. You got to give me the answer off the top of your head. This isn't like, let's think about this and come up with a thought out answer.
Oh boy. Okay.
Okay, you ready? I like it. Okay, so without further ado, this is rapid fire questions. Favorite place to travel?
Ooh, Ireland.
Can't go wrong there. Sandcastle or Kennywood?
Kennywood, Sandcastles.
Would you swim in the Mon River?
No.
Put any dish on your menu in 8th and Hayes, regardless of the price. Like some crazy exotic food.
That's hard. Bone marrow. It's not that exotic, but
Bone marrow. Can't go wrong. Final question. Favorite sibling?
oh boy. Sometimes Bubba, sometimes Kevin, sometimes Kelly. It depends on the day.
Oh, what a nice answer. Covered them all. I'm sure they're all watching and they're going to
I'm
bust
clearly
their chops.
the favorite out of all of them, though. You know,
We know
so.
this. Why do you think I asked you to be on the show? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kev.
Exactly.
Well,
There's
that's
my
it.
point.
That's it, Pam. Thank you so much for being on the show. I'll let you get back to it, and hopefully we'll be able to see you soon.
All right. See ya. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you. Pam, what a nice lady. Great family. The Dukars have done so much for Homestead, Munhall, West Homestead. So I'm so glad she took some time out of her day to be with us. And I wish them the most success. 8th and Hayes, Dukes, if you haven't checked them out, please go down to their staple in Homestead. Good food and good people all around. So, first guess, I'm getting so good at this, I'm getting faster and faster every time. I'm done working elsewhere. I'm a talk show host now. Thank you guys so much. Obviously, we got some more people lined up. I'm just going to get them queued up on the video call. So give me a few seconds. And next up, we have Jason Slater from TPG Tuning. So hang tight in just a few minutes, and we will be back. Thank you, guys. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Intermission show. Great first guests. We got two more lined up. While I was checking out the video in the switchover, I looked at my hair. Jason commented on it. It's getting a little out of control. If anyone has like a speakeasy hair salon, a barber shop in their basement, just send the kid a text. You know, I got to get this wig chopped off. So, with enough funny stuff, on to our next guest. Without further ado, I would like to welcome Jason Slater to our show. Jason is a very good friend of mine, and I even DJ'd his wedding. No big deal. He is one of the co-owners of TPG Tuning. They are responsible for creating and tuning various world record holding cars. In the last year or so, they moved into a brand new state-of-the-art warehouse with a built-in dyno ring. Jason, welcome to the show, my man.
Joseph, thanks for having me, man. I'm honored to be here.
Yeah, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Speaking of hair, I just wanted to let you know I actually have been rationing off my hair gel due to the quarantine, and I splurged tonight for you for this specific.
I think
time.
it's a good reason. You know, there's
the last one.
It's the last one. No more. You're done.
Gone.
I mean, I don't think you have many other public appearances, hopefully not, going on during this time.
Well, you know, after this interview, I feel like I have to get an agent, and, you know, we'll start talking from there. But
to be honest, I'm surprised I was able to get you. You're pretty much a celebrity, and I kid you not. I mean, I joke a lot. I kid you not. I knew Jason was a big deal. It's called like the ripple effect. When like friends of friends were like, hey, I'm taking my car to TPG, or some of my buddies had like TPG tuning stickers on the side of the car. I'm like, do you know who that guy is? They're like, yeah, Jason and Nate. I'm like, do you know I DJ'd both of their weddings? And just a subtle flex, but they're awesome guys, and I'm so glad to have you on the show. For the people that don't know, what do you guys do at TPG Tuning?
It's kind of a complex thing to describe, but we build.
Well, I got all the time in the world, Jace.
we build cars for various different levels of performance, driving, whatever people are looking for. One of the things that initially set us apart was having what's called a dynamometer, which is kind of like a treadmill for a car. It allows you to have like a controlled space to optimize the car's power output, drivability, things like that. So it's an interesting industry. It's very hard to describe. Every time you meet somebody, they're like, "Oh, what do you do for a living?" It takes a lot. I just tell people I'm a mechanic because it's way easier.
There's no
like, how much time you got?
Pull up a chair. I'm gonna need to tell you how this works.
Oh, yeah.
No, but that's awesome, and I ask you every time, like, what does this do and what's going on? I have no idea. Let me preface this for all the viewers. I don't know anything about cars. I blew up an engine because I didn't put oil in it. So I'm talking to like one of the best guys in Pittsburgh who does it. Prepping for the show, I don't know what to talk about. I could talk about, blowing up my engine. That's all I got.
You wouldn't imagine how much money I make off people that just don't put oil in cars.
You know what? I love it. That's awesome. Next time I blow up my engine, I'm gonna come to you.
Bingo.
So you joined a few other business owners that have been on the show.
Yeah.
At what point did you decide, hey, I can make my own company and have people pay me to do this?
So I initially, actually, I think I signed my LLC paperwork when I was 17, and my dyno was delivered on my 18th birthday, the day after my 18th birthday, actually. College wasn't really a thing for me. Just I'm not a learner by books. I have to kind of be more of a hands-on guy. So once I kind of went that route and started working on the cars, yeah, for people that are like thinking about doing startup business stuff, and it is the hardest thing in the entire world. People think like, oh, you work for yourself. It's so simple. It is the hardest thing because it never stops. You never sleep. You don't get to clock out when everyone else is done and clocked out. But I was about 18. Did that for a while, and then I think about 8 years ago, me and Nate joined up, and it was almost like starting all over again because when we joined up, we had two separate businesses that we merged together, and when you do that and you have a new name, you have a new location, you have new people, you go through all the same growing pains that you initially did. It's not like just because you had X amount of customers before and X amount of customers before, it's extremely difficult. So, I started when I was about 17, kind of progressed from there, and now here we are. I'm about to turn 32 in June, so.
I like how you had a check to see how old you were. No, but that's awesome. And you hit the nail on the head, and all the other entrepreneurs and business owners I've had on pretty much have said the same thing. Like you said, you don't clock out. Your phone never stops ringing. There's nobody to pass the buck to. You are the end of the train. And that's why I think I've always got along with you. We always see eye to eye, and I love hanging out with you because, we could talk about that, and people see from the outside looking in. They think it's just this glorious lifestyle. I'm like, man, you guys have no idea.
Everyone thinks you don't have to answer anybody, you don't do this or that, but it's like, well, if you don't go to work, you don't make money. If you don't answer that phone call at 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, you might lose a job. So it's a lot, but it's definitely worth it in the end, I think.
Do you feel like you still have the same passion as like when you started the company as you do now?
That's a really good question.
Only the heavy heaters on this show.
I know this is a tough one. I want to say no, but I think it's not necessarily in a negative way. I think it's an evolved passion. So, when I started when I was young, the ideas, the thoughts, the processes that I did were totally. I mean, they were young, they were naive, they were what they were. Now that it's transitioned more to a business and a business that does very well for itself, it's much more daunting in the day-to-day task because you have so many more customers that you have to deal with. You have so much structure that you have to
Yeah,
put in place and things like that. So I don't want to say that I've lost a passion for it. I think it's just evolved into more of a business aspect. Whereas I think when everybody initially starts their business, it's kind of like a hobby and it's an exciting thing, but there is a certain point wherever the hobby kind of fades a little bit and you have more of a job, than an actual hobby anymore. But I still love it. One thing I just did recently to try and like bring myself back to where I want to be is I just bought one of my old cars back to start racing again, to get my
nice.
boys back to the track, and just to kind of refuel kind of that passion that I had so many years ago.
Because
Don't want to say it's
you typically don't drive the cars now.
not much anymore. No, some of the cars, if we have some of the BMW stuff we do, I'll drive some of those cars. But for the most part, it's all customer cars or it's all sponsored cars, or Nate's crazy self will strap into any rickety tin can and drive it
He's
down the track.
he always has. That's why I love Nate. He always has something up his sleeve. I see the Land Cruiser. He's going through these mud puddles. You just shake your head.
He'll hop in a car that shouldn't even be on the road and he'll drive it 180 miles an hour down a track in flip flops and shorts. It doesn't, nothing phases him. So
He's a madman. I love it. I love it. But that's I'll take that answer. It's good. The evolved with the passion is absolutely a fair answer. And even times with myself, I don't feel like I've lost the passion. I just feel like it's been directed elsewhere.
Right.
Kind of like where you said when you start the business, you're working on X, Y, and Z, and you're gung ho, you're a young kid, and then later on you realize you got to pay these bills, and
Yep.
you just kind of redirect your passion into things that you really do enjoy and pay the bills. So don't ever lose that passion.
Yeah, I'll try.
So we talked about when I gave you the intro, you got these world record cars. I still don't really know what this means. You got various models that you've set world record cars in. It speaks for itself. I mean, that's awesome. Can you shed some light to what these world records cars are and how you make them?
Yeah, so they're in any type of racing in itself or any real industry. Even I'm sure the escape room has the fastest person out of the room or something like that. So there's always like a benchmark that you kind of want to set or be at the pinnacle of, and with drag racing, it's no different, and that's where a lot of our focus comes around to some of the cars that we build. Um, we've been pretty fortunate because we have such a good group of guys, and we've been able to surround ourselves with a ton of other guys throughout the industry that really know what they're doing, and we've taken some cars. For example, I think one of the most proud ones I had was the BMW. We were the first whenever BMW released their new M3 M4. We were the first people to go tens with that car. We worked with A&L a lot. We worked with a lot of different companies. And we were actually the first people to go 9 seconds and a quarter mile with that car. That's huge. We just bought a new Toyota Supra. They just released the new model of the Supra. We were the first people to go tens with that car. It takes a lot for people to. I know it doesn't understand, but there's so much new technology that continually evolves with these cars, and you have to be on top of it all the time. So
That's what surprised me about you guys. It wasn't just one car. You guys had
yeah,
all these different models. And, as a guy that doesn't know anything about cars, just seeing the multiple models and you guys being versatile to be able to do that, it blew my socks off. And just shows, I know I got this magazine cover you got to show off. I want to see it. I want to see it.
This is probably like one of the most proud cars that I've been a part of. Just the guy that owns it, him and his wife are absolutely amazing. He's one of my best friends. He built an absolutely masterpiece of a car, and this is the car. This is the cover of D Sport magazine. There's a big spread in it. I know a lot of people don't see that, but that car, to put it into perspective, when you see like manufacturers, they'll advertise a car goes 0 to 60 in this time frame or whatnot. So that car will go in a quarter mile, which is 1,320 feet, from a dead stop to the finish line in right about 8 seconds flat, about 180 miles an hour, which
That's
is
just scary.
for a 4-cylinder car that was built as more of like an economy car. It's kind of crazy, but Matt did an incredible job with the car, and I like that car so much because I've learned when you talk about like you still have the same passion, that car really renewed a lot of stuff for me because I got to learn so much new stuff and try so many new strategies and tactics. How do you get the car to launch correctly? How do you get it to shift down track? How do you get it to, put power down and actually move instead of just breaking everything right away? So it's been awesome.
I can hear it in your voice. That's the passion I'm talking about, my man.
Exactly.
That magazine cover is so cool, man. I hope you get that framed for your office.
Thank you.
It's awesome. And you know what the kids call that? They call that little subtle flex, baby. I see you. Actually, while you were on the screen, I was playing just a little slideshow of some of the cars you guys have at your shop. I just took it from your Facebook. So while you've been talking, there's been some cars, and people can see what they are. They're absolutely nasty. They're so cool. So we got a couple more cool things lined up for you. Right. I gotta keep you on your toes.
Hit me.
So we got a new segment for this show. We're calling it Throwback Thursday. It's Thursday. Kids love Throwback Thursday. This is where I do a deep dive on your Instagram.
Oh, God.
And I don't like to admit it, but I went all the way back to the first photo that you ever posted.
I don't even know what it is.
I kept it PG for you guys. This is a PG show. I know Kelly was on it last week. I had to bleep her out. She's swearing. We're going PG. So I got a photo. I actually just texted it to your phone. I sent it to you. So Jason hasn't seen this photo. I'm going to throw it up on the screen. You got to kind of give us context. What's going on with it? You got to explain the Instagram photo. So it's up on the screen. It's the photo that I just sent you. It looks like you're in like a gas mask. I don't know if someone had an accident at the shop. I don't know if you ate something weird, but we need some more info on this.
It's actually pretty easy to talk about, but the car that I just showed you that's on the cover of that magazine, it uses a certain type of fuel called methanol, and it's extremely toxic in terms of breathing it in or inhaling it. So whenever I'm on the dyno with the car, I didn't have that mask initially, so I'd have to hurry up and drive the car and run it through the gear and then run out of the dyno room as fast as I could because the fumes were just so overwhelming. So I bought that mask, and you look like you're ready for World War III whenever it comes down to it. But it's the only way you can actually sit in a space like that and use fuel like that that's so toxic and still be able to not have children with 10
What a nice professional answer. I just thought, hey, maybe you were wearing that to John Eagle. You didn't want to wear the face mask.
Honestly, it would come into play really well right now, so maybe I should pull it out of the closet.
No joke. I was cracking up when I was going through your Instagram and I saw this. No joke. I saw somebody walking around John Eagle with this mask, and I was like, this is too funny. I was like, I got to put this on the Throwback Thursday section.
I love the people. I saw like a thing online the other day. Some guy was wearing like a TV on his head. It's just, at least people are having fun with it, I guess.
It's an interesting world to say the least.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's all I got, my man. Anything you want to add?
Not really, man. I'm just happy I could talk with you. I haven't seen you in forever. I love your hair.
Well,
I almost wore a suit tonight. Frankie told me not to wear a suit. I was gonna wear a suit, but
Jason,
I'm waiting.
I'm waiting for somebody to join me with a suit. I would have lost it. I would have absolutely lost it.
Damn it,
Frankie, 2 thumbs down. You might have stole the show last week, but Jason would have stole it with a suit. And first off, Men's Warehouse, you need to sponsor me. I only own one suit, so it's been getting really weird.
I think probably like 3 suits. The only reason is because every time we go to a wedding, I forget it, and I have to go buy one immediately that day.
I'm not surprised one bit.
Don't talk to Katie about it. She'll be really, really mad.
It's a sore subject. Well, thank you so much for being on the show. You are the man. Hopefully we get to see you guys soon. And just be safe out there.
You too, man. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, we'll see you, man. Bye.
Bye.
Jason is the man. I'm so glad he took time out of his day to join us. It's legends only. I said it last week. We only have important people. If you're not important, you're not coming on the show. No, I'm just kidding. Well, I'm honestly going to be running out of guests soon. So I'm going to have to interview people I don't even know. So it's going to be difficult. But in all seriousness, I'm so glad everyone takes time out of their day to talk with me and chat and have fun. Nurses Week, I believe it's Nurse Appreciation Week. Shout out to all the nurses. A lot of the people, we get tons of fan mail here. So we have a whole crew of people just reading the fan mail. Overwhelmingly, all the letters have been, when are you getting a nurse on? When are you getting a nurse on? I'm a man of the people. We're getting a nurse on. I don't know when. We're getting a nurse on. Probably for next show. If I knew it was going to be Nurses Week, I would have planned that. Didn't. But shout out to all the nurses. They're on the front lines. They're doing unbelievable work. Thank you so much for everything you guys do. My mom was a nurse. McGee's Women's Hospital. Shout out my mom. So we're definitely gonna have a nurse on here. It's like I said, the fan mail can't even keep my mailbox closed. It's just been overflowing. So we are on to our final guest of the night. We got Avery Patti coming up all the way from Hollywood, California. So give me a sec. I'm gonna get him on the phone line, and we'll be right back. Thanks, guys. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Intermission Show. Want to give some shout outs in the comments. I see you guys. Sorry, I'm just trying to run a show here. No big deal. You know, Jimmy Fallon doesn't have live comments coming in. Can't do it all. But I see my Aunt Ann down in Florida. Thanks for watching again. We got Frankie waiting for a box. I mean, you stole the show once. I'm always ready for a box. Thanks, R. Spence. I see you. Prelude, okay. And my man, Nick Jovanovich, a.k.a. DJ Javo. He is the absolute man. So Nick Jovanovich does the intro for me. He is actually a voiceover guy. So he's that awesome voice on all the intros. And he actually comes from the news world. So he helps me every week. We kind of work the bugs out and get all the tweaks fixed. So couldn't do this without him. Obviously, shout out to my family watching, all the girls, mom and dad. Tons of celebrity. There's thousands of people across the U.S. watching this. Fan mail has been out the roof. It's been a blessing. As the kids say, I'm blessed. So without further ado, we got our final guest of the night. So glad I was able to get him. Talk about another celebrity. Very important schedule. Didn't know if he had time for me. He made time for me. So without further ado, our final guest of the night. We have my man, Avery Patti. Avery is a good friend of mine. I met him through my cousin, Ryan Deasy, a.k.a. R-Dog. Avery has a degree in hospitality from Penn State. Go State. He previously worked at Egg Slut at the Cosmo Hotel in Vegas and is now a manager of Catch in West Hollywood. You can't spell party without Paty. Avery Patti, welcome to the show. My man, how are you?
How are you, Joey? Always a pleasure to see you, my man.
So did you hear my comment with Jason and go put a suit on?
I'll tell you what I was just going to say. For everyone watching that saw the 5-minute intermission, that wasn't real. He called me at probably 45 seconds into that. So I didn't have time to go put on a suit after that comment. I had it locked and loaded.
And I've been
sitting in this chair in the suit for 30 minutes now.
That's that California sunshine coming in. My man got a tan on the side of his face. He said he's cooking. Just keeping it all bundled up.
Yep. If that's what it takes. It's for the show.
I'm so glad to have you. Thanks for taking time out of your day. First off, how's everything? How are you? How's Cali?
No complaints, man. I mean, there are definitely way worse places to be stuck, especially in the month of March and April. I mean, the weather was a little cool, but it's already in the 80s here. And I mean, they closed down the beaches and all the trails, but you can still get outside. You can still sit in the window and get tan. I mean, there's no complaints from me, my man.
I think you have a tough life, man. You make it seem like it's really difficult, and you really, it's tough. But somebody has to live it.
Somebody absolutely has to do it. Someone's got to pay rent. These apartments will be empty. The jobs will, all the babies that need to be kissed, the hands that need to be shook. Someone's got to do it. Avery
Patti, he's a man of the people. What can I say? So obviously, thank you so much for coming on the show. Actually, going back to the beaches and stuff, I thought that. I think like 90% of the beaches in Cali were closed. Some of them are open. Give me some insight.
So they, from my understanding, an article I read this morning, LA County and Santa Monica and Malibu, all the ones that are relatively close to me, all of which are about 30 to 45 minutes away, those are all closed still. A couple weeks back, they reopened Newport Beach because the mayor, I want to say, of Newport, or whoever's in charge of deciding whether the beach is open or not, and it reopened it, and all of California flooded in, me included. And I was walking on the beach with black gloves and a mask on, and not a single other soul out there had they were just reckless. They're throwing their kids in the water, bumping against other kids. So they shut that back down. But as of this week, I believe Newport's back open. In Laguna and San Diego, you can go, but you can't lay down. You have to be moving. You got to be on a bike.
You can't lay down. You just got to keep moving.
Yeah, that's what it says. It says active. What does it say? Active activities or something like that. Like you can surf, you can ride a bike, but you can't just lay there.
You weren't that guy dressed as the Grim Reaper walking around, right?
I wish I could take credit for that.
Did you see that guy? I don't know if it was Florida or California.
That sounds like a Florida thing.
Yeah, Florida
There's
man.
Some crazy stuff
Florida
that happens, but that's a Florida thing.
Just kidding, Ann Scholler. Ann, we love it. We love it down in Florida.
Florida's great.
So you were working at Catch in West Hollywood, I believe, even though it says Catch LA online. So I'm not a Californian. Shout out to my Aunt Sissy.
It says Catch LA online just to differentiate between Catch New York and Catch LA, and now most recently Catch Las Vegas. That's just keep it easy in the company.
Very cool. So the restaurant.
Technically, we're in West Hollywood.
The restaurant's awesome. I was reading about it online. It sounds like it's known for its drinks and food. Kind of upscale. We'll get into that in a sec. But tell me, what's Catch like versus some of the other places? Like you worked at Egg Slut, Cosmo. You took care of us, hooked it up. Legendary breakfast joint. There was a line around the corner, 100 people deep. Avery's like, "What do you want?" He just goes in the back, gets us our sandwiches. We skip past everyone, and everyone's jaw just drops. So that's
you guys waited. You guys waited in the homie line, which just at the time happened to be 0 people. It jumped to 2 when you came in, and somebody waited. I'm sure someone in the homie line waited a second because you guys were there. But
oh my gosh,
the homie line is much shorter than the Gen Pop.
You took care of it, and you obviously hooked it up. So, how has your change been from, working in kind of like a breakfast joint like that to, maybe a little more high-end food? What's it like?
I mean, so backing it up a little bit, the Cosmo, I was part of Egg Slut. That was my main responsibility, but I was actually over 3 restaurants. So I was over the pizzeria over there and Starbucks as well.
Secret pizza?
Yeah. And so between the 3 of them, it's a 24-hour operation because one of them is always open.
Yeah.
So pizza would close at 5, and then Starbucks and Egg Slut would open. Starbucks would open, and then Egg Slut opens, and then someone's always on call. So to go from, that was way more of a behind-the-scenes type operation as opposed to Catch, which is, like you said, a little bit more upscale. People come in and they're sitting for an hour. They're not waiting for an hour in a line, grabbing their egg sandwich and going back to the room. So there's a lot more attention to detail and a lot more moving parts, you could say. The other ones were kind of just kiosks or fast casual, and this is more sit down. And I got a team of servers I got to look after and bussers and making sure that the food comes out. It's a lot harder than an over easy egg versus over medium egg when you have an undercooked steak versus an overcooked steak. It's a whole different ballgame.
Despite what the people think, you're really running the show.
I wish I could take all the credit. I'll take about 5% of the credit for running the show.
What a nice guy. All right, I was just gonna say, if you could just move your computer a little bit.
There we go.
I wasn't sure if you brought in Hollywood production lights and had them outside your window, or trying to jazz you up.
Someone's getting fired for that for sure.
Production. We need to adjust the light.
It's a union company though, so you can't really tell them in the minute. You gotta just tell the rep, and then it's the whole thing.
It's a product. It's a production.
You know.
Oh, I know. I live it every day. So obviously, you're at Catch now. One of the questions I want to ask you, in the service industry world, especially you managing, coming from 3 spots and now managing Catch, what on a busy night like Friday or Saturday, what is the biggest issue that you specifically are dealing with?
Sure. It's. When I hear that question, it's an issue that I deal with, but it's probably one of the best problems to have in hospitality, and we are such a busy restaurant, and much like a lot of places here in LA where there's such a demand on these restaurants that have we're a bigger restaurant, and we open our reservations book accordingly, and so on a Friday or Saturday night we might have anywhere between 850 to 1,000 reservations. This is pre-corona. We'll see what happens in a couple months or in the next year or so. But
wait, say that number again.
Between 850 and 1,000. So we see probably around, I want to say, maybe between 150, 200 people, depending on how we can maximize our tables.
Flip the table.
So that's maybe 2 or 3 turns if everyone shows up. And one of the hardest problems is if you make a reservation for 8:30, we have a table for you at 8:30, but if you come 16 minutes late, we have a 15-minute late period, which depending on where you live could sound really offensive or could sound really lenient. I've been to places in LA. I show up sometimes late just to test other places, and they say, it's been 10 minutes and we gave your table away, or it's been 5 minutes, so we're going to try to work you back in. I've shown them 20 minutes late and they got a table still. So we settle on 15, which we think is fair. So
I like
if you
it.
show
That
up
seems fair.
You got 8:30, you show up at 8:45, we got to give that away. And then if we give it away, then you have to wait. But do you take the next person's at 9 o'clock? No, we got to try to work you back in. So it's the book is so tight. That's what we call our reservations, the reservation book. The book is set so tight that, if this 7 o'clock person decides to stay for 4 hours, that pushes their table availability back to 11. I can't tell that table at 8:30. So there are people who come in and they got to wait. And you know me, I'm an energy guy.
Man of the people.
Try to always have a smile on my face.
It's from the streets.
Come at everything from a happy perspective. One of the things that I'm tasked with doing is going over to those people at the bar and saying, "Hey, I know you've been standing here for 45 minutes because your Uber was a little bit late and the babysitter showed up late, and now you're late for your reservation. Let me get you a drink. Let me try to calm you down. Please stop yelling at my hostess. We're gonna get you some food. Just stand right here." So it's like I said, it's a great problem to have. I don't even know if I'd call it a problem, because too much business. Nobody complains about that. But that's definitely one of the more draining parts of the job for sure.
Hey, I hear you. With the escape room, we run a tight ship. If you're late for your 5:45, guess what? That room starts at 5:45. And I'm kind of like the facilitator, like you are. People show up late. I want to get them in there, and I'll do anything in my power too. But sometimes you just can't make it happen. And I like to think that we go above and beyond and take care of them and give them gift certificates, like you give them drinks. And, ultimately it is on them. And things do happen. The Uber could be late, but, the show must go on.
I can also attest, though, that all of your escape room venues, the waiting room is one of the quintessential parts of the escape room.
Oh, man, listen, you don't have to talk about me. I'm no longer in the escape room, axe throwing, bar business. Full-time talk show host.
This is your calling.
This is it.
This is your calling. You were good at the other things, but this is unreal.
So I love it. Catch, obviously, I didn't know you guys were doing those kind of crazy numbers. I knew it was popular. Some of my friends, shout out to my boy DJ Ben Wood. He's a big food guy, and I believe he mentioned Catch to me. So when it's on his radar, I know it's something special. So as soon as I heard you were part of that group, that's the real deal. So I did some research on you guys, as I do with all my guests. And when you search Catch LA in the related searches, the very first thing that's searched is Catch celebrities.
That sounds about right.
You got to give me some insight. Where's that come from?
So again, backing up a lot more. I think I want to say 2008 was the first Catch restaurant to open up in New York City, and Mark Birnbaum, Eugene Rem, both amazing guys who are our owners. Before they opened Catch, they actually were in the nightclub business, and before they owned their own nightclub, they were promoters. And these guys are two of the hardest working guys you'll ever meet, and their specialty was making everyone feel like all of their attention was on them, and that everything that you could come into one of their venues, or you could come into a place where they were working, or now one of their restaurants, and that every extension of them, the management team and all the directors and the staff, is going to take care of you. And they had great relationships with a lot of celebrities for this reason. They trust them. They can come to Catch, and we don't put them on a pedestal. If they want to be hidden, we have a table for them that's kind of tucked away. If they want to be seen, we can make sure that how does
that go down? All right. I mean, I'm a big celeb in my own eyes. I call you up. Do you ask them? Like, do you ask the celebrity, hey, do you want a hidden table, or do you want to be front and center?
Well, you don't have to ask. I already got yours. It's got your name on it. I'm still waiting for you to fly to Hollywood and take your table. But
Don't
no,
tempt me with a good time.
It depends. I mean, there have been times, for example, I think it was, I don't know, a couple months back in the past year, we saw an open table reservation that was online, and it said Keanu Reeves in all lowercase letters. And I mean, it's LA. Some people, right? We might be eating with the Kardashians just so they get bumped up or something like that. So of course, open table reservation, Keanu Reeves. Sure as enough, walks in at 7:30. Hey, I have a reservation for it's under Reeves, Keanu Reeves, and it was him. He didn't have his publicist email us. There was no special. He just called it in. And sometimes they'll show up like that, especially after award shows.
Yeah.
Or sometimes, as managers, since our owners can't be there all the time, Mark lives in LA and Eugene lives in New York. They'll link us in through text. They'll say, hey, Jason Derulo's coming in tonight. This is so-and-so, the manager. Why don't you go ahead and text her or text him and let them know when you're coming in, how many people, and we try to do our best to accommodate.
So you think most of them are facilitated beforehand? Hey, I want a table in the back. I want a table front and center, via text or something.
We try to do most ahead of time, just to be fair to everybody. I mean,
Yeah.
As much as we would like to save tables in the back for whoever requests them, there are people who made reservations months in advance, weeks in advance, who are traveling to LA from out of the country or out of the state, and we want to give them the exact same experience. So as much as we'd like to give everyone exactly what they wanted, nobody really. It's hard to give precedent to one person over another.
Couldn't have said it better. You're very well spoken. I don't care what the kids say. So talking about celebrities, you actually sent the production team, Alicia Keys, production. Did you get the photo from Avery? Okay.
I got lost in the nurse mail.
Got it. All right, I got it. Production says we have it. All right, I'm going to throw it up on the screen. There it is. So we have a picture you actually sent in, and it looks like it's Steven Tyler.
That it is. So
I have it on the screen. I want you to give some insight.
I'm hoping the thousands of viewers don't screenshot anything here and go to TMZ with this, because I'm not really sure if I don't know if I have the rights to the picture, but I took it, so we'll get to that. So back when I was opening Catch in Las Vegas, which in between Egg Slut and Secret Pizza and Catch LA, I actually had the opportunity to open the Catch in Las Vegas at the Aria. And last March, towards the end of March, Steven Tyler, we got word that Steven Tyler, a big fan of our restaurant group, wanted to celebrate his 71st birthday with us. So we had a giant, people familiar with our restaurant, we have our signature, most Instagrammable dish is our Hit Me chocolate cake. And it's got a giant, what we call liquid Klondike on top. So it looks like a Klondike bar, but inside is completely liquid. So what we do is you take your side of the spoon and you hit the cake, and it just spills out all over the place. And it's a beautiful, beautiful chaos. And people love Instagramming, people love taking videos. So for Steven Tyler's 71st, we had a giant one of those made that said happy birthday. And I went over there, since I was the young kid on the crew, as I always am and as I will be for the next 20 years of my life. I went over there and I was in charge of asking his daughter Liv and his security team if it would be okay if when we're surprising him with the video, with the cake, to take a video of it for our social media. We're a big social media restaurant. And they're like, yeah, absolutely, of course. So we present the cake, we're bringing it over with sparklers. He stands up and he's clapping. And you guys can watch the video on Catch's Instagram, at Catch. I think Joey posted it already. And this cuts out when this picture is taken for good reason. So this video is probably 2 minutes long and they splice it up. So I'm filming the cake coming over, and then I go to film him and my flash's on. It's in the back of the restaurant in the dark area. And he's clapping and he looks right at me. And then he whispers something to his his partner he's with, who grabs the security, and they're all pointing at me. And because what they didn't realize is if I cleared it with security and said it was okay, and his daughter said it was okay, but it was a surprise to him, I just look like a chump in a suit with the cell phone
Oh
trying to
my
film
gosh.
trying to film Steven Tyler. So this is the part of the video where he's pointing to me and his
Who's this
security
guy?
guards start swarming me, and they go, "Oh no, wait a second! This is the kid he's doing it for the restaurant. He's okay." But for a second there, I almost got taken out by Steven Tyler's security guard.
That is awesome. And it's so funny that you talk about that cake. I've seen people post that picture of them cracking the cake. I didn't realize that was you guys.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
That is really cool, man. Is there any way you could send me that cake to Pittsburgh?
You know what? I'll send that one. I'll
Just
I'll
have your
make
people
it,
talk to my people.
I'll tell him Steven Tyler's coming back, and we can smudge it out. We'll write Joey Deasy on it.
Oh, man. So I got one little skit I'm going to end with. If you saw Jason Slater right before you, I did the same thing with him. We call it Throwback Thursday. So
Here we go.
I didn't send you this picture ahead of time, but I did a deep dive on your Instagram. I didn't. This is fresh for you. I did a deep dive on your Instagram. There's some questionable things on there, but we won't go into it. It's a PG show. It's kid-friendly. This picture...
It can't be that deep then.
It's not. It was good. You definitely cleaned it up. You're a good kid. This was actually a picture where I think I was there, or I saw you before or after. So I'll set the scene. Penn State.
It doesn't narrow it down.
Penn State. Halloween.
Okay.
Wayne's
I like
World.
where this is headed. Yep.
So this is your Wayne's World photo. And just give us, obviously it's Halloween. I kind of set the scene. You fill in the gaps.
So what's funny enough is that I recognize what picture is it with me and my Garth at the time?
Yes.
Beautiful. So I actually went around to, they have those spirit Halloween stores that pop up around beginning of October.
Yeah.
I went the day before Halloween and the Halloween weekend or whatever it was, looking for like a rock star wig everywhere. Couldn't find it. Had to go into the female section, get a wig, straighten it, and cut it to actually look like Wayne. Ordered a hat on Amazon, didn't come in on time, so I took a little piece of paper, printed it, and taped it on top. But to this day, I've repeated that Halloween costume 3 times now. Wayne's World is one of my favorite movies growing up, still is to this day, and I was Wayne Campbell that night for at least 8 hours. Every bar you went to, I was always known as the kid with the clear glasses in college. Nobody recognized me without them, so nobody knew who I was that night. I was Wayne Campbell.
So this is where I come in. And not only do I back up what he's saying, is I think for the 3 days after Halloween, my man is still coming up, throwing his hair back. He has the wig off. He's just coming up. I would just see him in public. He'd just be like, swing. And I would just bust out laughing. So as soon as I saw that picture, my man, hey, if the restaurant world doesn't work out for you, you got the acting world is great.
Down to Sunset, man.
Because you were
acting. I'll just go get my picture taken with
you were in character for 3 days. Oh my gosh!
Right, I forgot about that. It's a lifestyle, man. It wasn't a costume.
It wasn't a costume. It was a lifestyle. Well, Avery, we took it easy on you. PG show. Anything you want to anything you want to add? Any shout outs you want to give before we wrap it up?
Shout out to thousands of fans, man. I want to shout out my family, your family, everybody watching, man. Just send love, stay safe. But I mean, this is what we need, man. We need to stay up. We need to stay laughing, and I appreciate you having me on. I'd love to be a part of this, man. Thank you.
Anytime, man. Couldn't do it without you. You're such an awesome guest. I can't wait to see you out in California and try some of that cake.
Always.
You're the man.
Always love, brother.
Thanks again, man. We'll catch up with you. Hopefully get to see you soon.
For sure.
All right, Avery. We'll talk to you, man. Well, guys, another awesome person that I get to call my friend. Avery is the man. Like I said, he took care of us in Vegas. Not only with the food, he got us into nightclubs. We're walking in the back door. It's just, it's the life. It's somebody got to live it. And fortunately enough, Avery's taking care of us, and he's such a good kid. I can't wait to go out to California and see him one of these days. So that's pretty much it for the show. Another great week. I'm having so much fun. I'm looking forward to next week's guest. In the meantime, in those 2 5-minute breaks where I get the next caller, I got a nurse lined up for next week. Easy. The internet, it's easy. And I found somebody that'll give me a haircut. This is crazy. Next, I'm going to start asking for cars. Anyone got the hookup? No, I'm just kidding. But I appreciate everyone sending me the texts and taking care of me. This is fun. I'm really enjoying it. Hopefully it's some entertainment for you guys while all this craziness is going on in the world. We get to talk to some great people. Thank you to all the guests, even from the previous episodes, taking time out of their day to hang out with us. And by us, it's me and my whole production team. A lot of people here. So shout out to all my family, everyone watching across the U.S., the thousands of viewers. I mean, this is the best. I mean, this is a future career. This is my career now. So thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next week. We'll see you guys.